The committee is resumed. Kia ora tātou no reire te whare, inga iwi, inga rio, inga hawe wha tēnā koutou, tēnā koutou, tēnā koutou katoa. Good evening, honourable members. I understand that prior to the dinner break at 6 p.m, the honourable member Chris Farfoe had the call. The member has 3 minutes and 18 seconds remaining if he so wishes to take the call, and we are debating the search and surveillance bill. We're in the committee stages and we're debating part 3.
Mr. Chair.
I call the honourable member Chris Farfoe.
Talohane, Mr. Chair. And thank you. I don't intend to take up too much more of the House's time speaking to part 3. But I do intend to complete the point that I was making just prior to the dinner break, which was around clause 42AA, which my colleague Charles Chevelle has presented a supplementary order paper to the House. And 42AA does cover the approval of trespass surveillance in instances where material could be collected, and at the moment the bill does say that it is for offences of 7 years or more imprisonment. The substance of Charles Chevelle's supplementary order paper is that we seek to increase that imprisonment duration from 7 to 10. The rationale simply being that we believe that because of the nature of the powers that is afforded to us, to agencies in this bill, that we should use it on the rare occasion and only for the more serious offences. And because of the spirit in which the passage of this bill has gone through the House, we do ask that the Minister and the Chair give that supplementary order paper due consideration and possibly support, because if we did pick that up and the SOP that has been put forward by David Parker around the powers of the Serious Fraud Office, I think we will go some way to having pretty much solid support from the Labor members of the House in order for this bill to have significant support across the House, especially for such an important piece of legislation. But just to finish out, Mr. Chair, we do support the general thrust of what's happening, what is proposed in Part 3. There has been some changes both at the Select Committee stage and also through SOPs that are on the table now, and we do support a number of those. But we do, as I just want to point out again, do seek some changes via the supplementary order paper by Charles Chevelle around the length of imprisonment that we take into account when we are looking at trespass surveillance orders and being granted, and also the powers of the Serious Fraud Office under the SOP being proposed by David Parker. I just want to speak very briefly to clause 57, which has already been traversed well by both David Parker and Charles Chevelle, and talk about the uncertainty about the lack of declarations that, or the opinion that is being sought by the judiciary around some of the new technology that may be afforded in some of the stranger situations that we might find ourselves where applications may be sought for surveillance. So if those changes could be considered, I think that will go a significant way for this side of the House to support this bill, and we hope that the member and the Chair might consider that. Thank you.
I call the honourable member